Welcome to Absolute Trust Talk with your host, Kirsten Howe. Absolute Trust Talk brings you tips, tools, advice, and interviews to help you build a reliable knowledge base on estate planning, business, and finance to start preparing for your future today.
Hello and welcome to Absolute Trust Talk. I'm Kirsten Howe. This is our video and audio podcast here at Absolute Trust Counsel. And I'm here with Jessica Colbert, one of our associate attorneys. We are doing what I think is part 2 of I don't know how many episodes we're going to be talking about trustee and executor do's and don'ts. We have found this to be just an extraordinarily popular topic. It's one of the most watched series on our YouTube channel. And so I think there's a lot of need for education out there. And there's also a lot of do's and don'ts we could talk about for a long, long time. So we're going to go back to this topic today and also probably again in the future and cover some more trustee do's and don'ts. Today, we're going to be talking about notifications. These are things that our trustee clients, well, sometimes they come to us right away. Mom died on April 13th, and we are meeting with the client on April 25th. Right away they come in. And then there are trustees who work away doing their job without our help for about a year. And then they come in and discover there are things that they should have done and they haven't done, and we're going to help them do it. And the first thing that we discover is this category of things that we call notices. So Jessica, talk to us about one of the common notices that our trustee clients don't know about and therefore don't take care of.
Yes. So one notice that the trustee must send out is a very specific notice that the trustee must send to the trust beneficiaries and to the heirs of the decedent. And this notice goes out and it says that the person who created the trust has died, the trust is now irrevocable, and that these people are entitled to a copy of the trust. It also, very importantly, it starts a 120-day deadline where those people can challenge the trust. And so we like to get these notices out as soon as possible, get that clock running so that once that 120 days is up, we know that no one will be challenging the trust.
In our office, that's the thing that we do first. When we get hired, we hurry up and get those notices out even before we start doing other things that we also have to do. That's usually our focus is let's get that clock running so that our trustee, our client, can finish their job. And we don't want them distributing money out to the beneficiaries until they've done that. And sometimes when they come to hire us, they've already distributed out some money and they haven't done that. And then you just have to hope that everybody's happy in the family and they get along, and there's not going to be a challenge once you send the notice out. So the trustee notice, very important and often overlooked. Okay, now also in the notice category, there's another one that we find our clients tend not to know about and don't know that they're supposed to do it. You want to talk about that?
Yes, another notice is a notice that anytime someone in California dies, this notice must go to the Department of Healthcare Services. If the decedent was receiving Medi-Cal, then the Department of Healthcare Services could make a claim against their estate to recover that. But if they didn't, typically we'll just get a letter back saying that there is no claim. But regardless, this notice does need to go to the Department of Healthcare Services.
Right. So it's not the case that you get to decide. You have to provide that notice. Even if you know your mom wasn't on Medi-Cal, you still have to send that notice. And the thing that's really interesting to me that happens so often is we tell the client, we tell our trustee client, we have to do this notice. Well, first of all, as the attorney for the trustee, we have our own separate requirement that we provide the notice. So the statute says that we ourselves have to do that. So we have to do it. We have to do it. And we do it for you as well. But what's interesting is that a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm sure they were notified. The funeral home notified Social Security. Yes, that's what the funeral homes do. That doesn't mean the California Department of Healthcare Services got notification. A very intelligent question that I get from our trustee clients is, well, but the county produced the death certificate. Why? Of course they know my mom died. No, separate departments, they do not communicate with each other. The county issues the death certificate. That doesn't mean that the state Department of Healthcare Services knows anything about that. So it's a separate thing. We have to do it. The last one, this is a little more logical. Clients get this one. And this notice is to yet another government agency. When someone who owns real estate in the county dies, the assessor's office in the county has to be notified. There's a very specific notice that we prepare and we send to the assessor's office. And can you guess why? The reason is that anytime somebody dies, there's an opportunity for the property to be reassessed and therefore the property taxes to go up. So they require that you notify them. You can't just hang on to that property and hide behind the fact that you don't need to do a probate or something like that. You are required to notify the assessor's office and just let them know somebody has died. It doesn't mean the property will be reassessed, but you have to let them know.
I think it's important to note that if the decedent owned real property in multiple counties, each county gets that notice.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. So it's the same notice. It's a form, but you got to send it to each assessor where the decedent owned real estate. Very good point. I appreciate that expansion. All right. I hope you got a lot out of this. We are very grateful that you joined us. And I think that this conversation about trustee and executor do's and don'ts is going to be a long one. There will be many more episodes. So come back and we look forward to connecting with you next time.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com/scheduling. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcouncil.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.
This podcast is not meant to take the place of legal advice from an attorney and does not create an attorney-client relationship. If you do have a legal question or issue, please consult with an attorney.